Mo, welcome to Locked In, man. Straight from Florida. You came from the warm to the cold.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. Appreciate you for having me, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming. And shout out to Sean Gunby for connecting us and making this happen today.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Yeah, big ups to Sean. Podcast was so great gentleman, great guy. He spoke very highly of you. And I ain't gonna lie, initially when he told me your name and I looked you up, I'm like, this guy's a freaking nerd. but nah, man, he just he just spoke highly of you, and I'm like, all right, I'd love to be on this platform. And then I did my own homework, and I see the guests you had, some of the stories, how poignant it is, and doing your thing, man. I appreciate you for having me, man.
No,
It's
of
a
course,
blessing.
man. You just
Hopefully
didn't
I can
realize.
add value.
Yeah, you just didn't realize I went to prison.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah,
So
until
I
you
won
told
some
me.
brownie points up
Yeah,
here today.
bro. It's like, and I can relate to the whole people put you in this category as like a chomo being there for something weird because of the glasses and the exterior. But that's just a confirmation that you can never judge a book by its cover, man. The exterior means nothing.
Yeah, I tell people I was a shot caller now.
Yeah.
I ran the yard,
No, for sure.
I was checking paperwork
For
and all
sure.
that.
Yeah.
So did you grow up in Florida?
Born and raised, man. Tampa, Florida. Home of the Buccaneers. Go Bucks, man.
Yeah, I became a Bucks fan when Tom Brady went there.
Oh, yeah?
And then
because the New England,
And then I stopped becoming a Bucks fan when he left.
Oh, man. I can honestly say this, man, that Brady, I don't want to say I owe him, because I don't owe him nothing, but I am definitely grateful for the exposure he brought to the city of Tampa, because a lot of people, when you think of Florida, off rip, you think of Miami, Orlando, because those are the more branded tourist destinations in Florida. But Tampa is a gem, and Tampa has a lot to offer. We have a fortified economy. We have tourist areas, Busch Gardens, Adventure Island, Mosey Museum, Ybor City, Hyde Park, very historical city. And we have a lot to offer. We got sporting teams, winning franchise. We got 2 Super Bowl rings. And Tom Brady just, gave that exposure and just educated people on the city of Tampa. And I'm just grateful. So forever, man, I definitely be appreciative of Tom Brady. Not for him just winning the ring, which that was a bonus, but just, bringing that brand, bringing the people from New England down, to Tampa and just getting a glimpse and seeing that, hey, it ain't just Miami and Orlando. Tampa got something to offer. So definitely grateful for that.
Yeah, say what you want about him, but, that's legendary to leave a team, come to this first team and win a Super Bowl the first season.
That's amazing.
He should have retired right then and there.
Yeah, it should have been over with. He would have his legacy was already cemented, but that would have just mic drop, bam.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
There's nothing else to do.
And then it's funny, I find it so hilarious that they try to pave this same roadmap for Aaron Rodgers, bro. And it's like, Aaron Rodgers, yeah, you are a Hall of Famer. You're amazing, bro. One of the best talents ever to throw the football, but you're not Brady. You're not that caliber, bro. See, what makes Brady so great is like the mindset, the work ethic, the intangibles. Not the most talented guy. He's definitely not athletic, but the IQ on the field and the mindset, intestinal fortitude, they say. He has that intestinal fortitude that he's like, you know what? I may not be as talented as you, may not be as fast, may not be as strong, but I'm going to outwork you. Because, working hard is boring. Nobody wants to put in the extra effort.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do it. It's boring. I want to get to the fun stuff. But when you work diligently, when you can sustain through the boredom, that's what counts. I don't know, do you work out? Are you in the gym?
Every day, yeah.
All right, so in the gym, it's days I don't feel like working out. But like I tell people, those are the days that count the most, because it's easy to work out when you're motivated, of course. Yeah, you motivated, you feel good because you seen somebody on Instagram, you comparing yourself like, that guy's abs look nice, his chest is bulging out. I want mine like that. All right, so for a day or two, for a week, you're motivated. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the gym, eating all the protein you can eat, and you think Rome was built in a day. No. It takes time. It takes months. People that you see, that you compare yourself with, it took months, years to get to that level. And you think you're going to get in a couple of days. But then when you don't see results as you're anticipating in 2-3 days, it's not working. It's like, bro, you got to have that grit. You gotta work it out, bro. You got to push through even the days you don't want to, even when it's pain. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. But
yeah, but Aaron Rodgers, he made a history too because he got hurt the first 30 seconds of the game on a new team.
Bro, yeah. That was crazy, bro. It's like, Yeah, man, I just don't, it's like, bad luck of the draw, bro. I mean, and it's like, now he's leaving it like up in the air, like mystifying, is he gonna return or not? But me personally, I don't see anybody bringing Aaron Rodgers in. I don't see where it's a good fit for him. Maybe Cleveland because of the defense, Myles Garrett and stuff like that. But I just don't know, bro. I think Father Time unfortunately caught up to him. And who am I? I mean, I'm nobody. I'm not, but I think Father Time caught up to him, and Tom Brady was the exception of the rule. He was the outlier. Everybody's not going to be Brady. And plus, if we look back in retrospect, Tom Brady never had any like significant injuries. Aaron Rodgers has. So there is a distinguishing factor there. But yeah.
Who'd you grow up with? Who were you
as
raised
far as
by?
my team?
No, well, like your family and
my
siblings.
Family?
Yeah.
I can honestly say no one. I didn't have that consistent male figure in my life that, showed me things and that I can look to and say, hey, I want to be like you. Now, I do have an uncle. He taught me some things, and it was things I liked about my uncle, but I didn't see him enough to where it's like I wanted to be like him. But when he did come around, I definitely wasn't happy. He put me on, certain hip hop type of music and stuff like that, and taught me my colors. But I mean, honestly, the greatest example I have as a role model, prior to going to prison, I want to say my mom, bro. She worked hard. She busted ass. I witnessed my mom work 3 jobs just to make ends meet. Not even ends meet, so we can have more. Because for 13 years, I was the only child. So my mom, she always, said to herself and to me that she doesn't want me to grow up how she grew up. She grew up in the projects in Cincinnati, Ohio, still in a 5. And they were unfortunate for a prolonged period of her adolescence. And she said, I'm not going to have that for my son. I'm going to give the world within my reach. And she did just that. I was a very spoiled kid growing up. I can't lie. I never experienced starvation or being hungry. There's always something to eat. Now, that's not to say my mom cooked every day. Sometimes I had to eat a bowl of cereal, had to eat a peanut butter jelly for dinner. But usually that was discretionary. I had no problem. I mean, a kid eating the PBJ for dinner, cereal, Lucky Charms, Captain Crunch.
Living life.
Yeah, living life, bro. But yeah, I had a great childhood, man. My mom was an exemplary of hard work, very intelligent. She always, fostered me into pronunciating and enunciating my words correctly. Because growing up, I used to like talking a lot of slang. From what I seen from my peers and on TV, urban America. That's how I grew up. But my mom, she just was urban, but yet educated and different, and edified me to do the same. So it's funny because when I went to prison, people used to always say, oh, he talks so proper, Mo. Why you so proper? And I'm like, you think I'm proper? And I'm like, nah, bro, I don't know. My mom, she just encouraged me to read and just educate myself. And I don't know, bro. It is what it is. But yeah, but it's sad. I didn't have my first person I actually looked up to, mentor, so to say, until I got to prison, man. 18 years old, I met a phenomenal gentleman by the name of Osiris, a guy out of Miami, Florida. Had a life sentence. At the time, he was like on his 23rd year of his bid, and a very intelligent, eloquent speaker, great perspective, just a man of great stature, a man's man, but not in the aggressive, I'll beat your ass type shit. No, it's like, no, he wasn't soft. He definitely wasn't a pushover, but that wasn't his persona. His persona was, somebody that's control of self and, has knowledge of self and, very, conscious and aware of who he is as an individual and his surroundings and his environment and just knowing how to get the best out of people. And, he helped bring the best out of me from educating me from, religion, politics, science, what it is to be a man of African descent, born and raised in this country. Just a lot of different things, man, just gave me a lot of perspective, and that shifted my perception. And I actually, because of him, he's a primary factor of me coming out of prison unscathed because of the intangibles he helped me develop. So, yeah.
All right, guys, I have officially found the best pair of jeans I have ever worn. And no, I'm not just saying that because they're sponsoring the show today. The Perfect Jean has completely changed the game when it comes to denim. Listen, I used to hate jeans. They were stiff, uncomfortable, and if you've got a little extra in certain areas, let's just say things got crushed. But the Perfect Jean, these things are soft, stretchy, and actually move with you, like yoga pants for men, but they still look sharp. Let's put them to the test. I mean, guys, seriously, look at these jeans right here. They are so comfortable, like literally so comfortable. And growing up, I was always a little bit chubby. I hated wearing jeans, but these are great. No rips, no plumber's crack, just pure comfort. And guess what? They have 6 different fits, sizes from 26 to 50-inch waists and up to 38-inch lengths. No matter what body type you have, there's a Perfect Jean for you. Now, normally I'd spend $150 to $200 on jeans that don't even fit right and I'd have to return them. But these are just $79.99 and worth every penny. For a limited time, our listeners get 15% off their first order plus free shipping at theperfectjean.nyc or Google The Perfect Jean and use code LOCKEDIN15 for 15% off. That's 15% off for new customers at theperfectjean.nyc with promo code LOCKEDIN15. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. F your khakis and get the Perfect Jean. Now let's get back into today's episode. Did you know where your real dad was, your biological dad?
Oh, yeah, nah, for sure. He actually passed like 2 years ago from cancer. But yeah, I didn't actually build a rapport, an official rapport with my dad, quote unquote, until I was about 13 years old. I remember one day I was in middle school and the principal called me on the intercom. Now, and me, I'm like, man, what I did, I had a good day today, because usually I'm disruptive, in and out of detention, ISS, stuff like that. But I'm like, man, today I was good. What y'all calling me for today? So it was like, Morgan Nelson, please report to student affairs. I'm like, oh, man, what I getting blamed for something I ain't even do, because I was just that. I wasn't bad, but I wasn't good. I was just, class clown, very disruptive, wanted to be entertaining, stuff like that. But they called me. I went down there, and I walk into the AP's office, and I see a guy with a congruent face as me. And it was like shocking. I'm like, whoa. And he's like, how you doing, son? And I'm puzzled. I'm, lost for words, taken back. I can't even say nothing. And it's kind of crazy, man, because it's a funny how emotions work, because for years I had such a disdain and animosity for my dad for his negligence. But when I seen him, I just broke down, man, and tears came out my eyes. And I can't convey, but I was happy, bro. I just wanted a dad, bro. I just, having that counsel, or having somebody who favors you or looks just like you, giving you worldly advice and wisdom on how to navigate life, to be loved from a masculine perspective. I got plenty of that from a feminine, from my mom, but not as much from a masculine perspective. So to have a glimpse of that, and at least have an opportunity of somewhere to have a relationship with my dad, was very, very, very groundbreaking for me. And I appreciate it. But even that, he wasn't what I anticipated, what I really wanted in the day. He was more like my homeboy, my friend. And I accepted it, and it was cool. I mean, at least I got to build a rapport with my dad. Some people never got to met the dad, so definitely grateful for that opportunity. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Before you met him, what did your mom tell you about him?
My mom said that, it's crazy, man. What I appreciate about my mom, she never really like tried to throw his name in the mud. It was never too many things to say. She just was saying that, my dad was in the military, always busy, was selfish, a narcissist. But when they was not together, because they were never together in a relationship. I was a fling baby. It was just two attractive people, found a liking to each other, had sex, and voila. You know what I mean? The kid here. But she didn't have too many bad things to say about him. She's very intelligent. He was an all-star in basketball, profound athlete, and stuff like that. But Dad was a cool guy, man. He was very I don't think I'm cocky, but my dad was very cocky. I'm very confident. It's a difference. But my dad was very cocky, held his chest real high, 6'4", 6'5", dark skin like me, handsome guy. Very, and that's why I think I developed this trait from. He had a very magnetic personality. His presence would enable you to gravitate towards him. Nice cat, nice guy. You didn't feel threatened in his vicinity. He was an all right cat. He was all right, But is anybody perfect? No. I wish he was a better dad. But as an individual, he was a great man.
What were your dreams and goals as a kid for when you got older?
Well, at one point in time, man, fun fact is that I actually aspired to be a dentist one point in time in my life. I had this thing about teeth. I felt like teeth were very important. Teeth says a lot about the individual. It gives you that look. And, when you're appearing, especially in regards to teeth, people will trust you more. And, growing up, my mom didn't have the best health when it came to her teeth. And I always wanted, to create an avenue to help her. And then I just heard, how lucrative the industry was, the top 5 paying industry in the country. And I was like, hey, but then when I found out how much schooling it took, and, the diligence you had to put in, I'm like, you know what, let's pivot on that. But that, and then I had basketball aspirations, urban kid in America who doesn't have some type of basketball or football, baseball aspirations. But when I got incarcerated, that dwindled. Reality set in. It's like, hey, bro, you're not going to the NBA. You can do how many crossovers you want in the jailhouse and be AI or LeBron James, but not that team, you're not going. So reality set in, I had to accept that. But yeah, tennis and playing basketball.
It's interesting about the teeth thing. It's always funny when you meet people that brag about how much money they have, and then you look at their teeth and it's messed up.
Bro, I'm glad.
There's so many billionaires, that have messed up teeth.
Yeah, bro, I think that should be when you enter the threshold of experiencing a certain caliber of money. If you don't have nice teeth, I think that should be one of the first investments, bro. Like I say, I've been in places, and I'm talking about, and I look like a straight bum, bro. I know I was looking raggedy as hell. And I approached people with the offer, and people subscribed to it. And I was just curious, because I know I wasn't, my presentation wasn't proper as I would have liked it, as I usually approach somebody when I'm making them an offer. And I just asked them, I was like, what made you trust me? Because I'm looking like a bum, and first impression is the best impression. And they're like, more honestly, man, it's your teeth. I say, I know you can't be broke. You got to be serious. You got to be somebody because you got nice, healthy looking teeth. And I took a liking to that. I'm like, you know what, man, teeth are very important. The appearance, man.
Goes a long way.
Goes a long way. Says a lot about the individual. And even me, when I meet people that, is very wealthy financially, or even unfinancially, it's like you said with the teeth, it's like, bro, ew. Like, you look at your teeth, bro. I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, and then teeth also exhibit leadership. Just like public speaking, that's something, I learned and developed while in prison. Oh, you familiar with Toastmasters?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I was a Toastmaster, bro. I was a advanced communicator silver.
Ah,
I gotta go for my gold. I'm coming for that gold. I'm coming for that gold, Toastmaster. I'm coming. But yeah, while I was in prison, I took advantage of that. But in prison, it was called the Gavel Club because Toastmaster, it's a paying club. You have to pay. But due to the fact it was in prison, we had no way of paying, so they waived it. But they branched it off into the Gavel Club. But we were, sponsored and taken care of and used the same resources as Toastmasters. So I took advantage of that. But it's funny how that story went because when I first got introduced to Toastmasters by one of my peers in prison, immediately I'm thinking of breakfast, bro. I thought about like a piece of toast and an egg and some orange juice. Like, Toastmasters, what, are they going to teach me how to make and eat toast? What is that? And it's like, nah, man, I think you'll like it, Mo. You already talk a lot, bro. Like, just give it a shot. And I'm like, I looked at him like, talk a lot, like you throwing salt, but, it's like a little small inside joke. But I was like, you know what? I'm a man that likes to try things new. Let's see. Can't hurt to give it an experience, right? Give it a try. And I gave it a try, man. And when I seen the environment, I'm like, wow. I seen inmates that I knew in the compound that I didn't know that they was involved in something like this. I'm thinking, like, hey, bro, what are you doing in here, bro? And it was like, about 15, 16 guys in there. And it just had so much structure, so much organization. And it was time for me to do my icebreaker to introduce myself. And I nutted up. Bro, I couldn't even say my name, bro. I forgot my name. I forgot where I was from and everything. I could, icebreaker telling you your name, where you're from, some interesting fun facts about yourself. It was crickets. And I remember that experience, that feeling. I was like, bro, I never want to feel like this again because I felt defeated. And I was like, oh, hell no. Nah. I'm a type of dude, man, like, bro, I can't be defeated. I embrace the challenge. I understand challenges are a part of life. It's an opportunity for us to build character and grow and be the best versions of ourselves. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be the best version of myself. I'm gonna be the best in this club. Cause I know I seen I seen people snickering like, you know what I mean? Cause, but I'm like, you laughing? You think it's a game? All right, bet. Bro, in like 4 months, bro, I was the best. I was the #1 speaker in the club, bro. And it's not for my, for my own personal, self-bias. My peers said it. Our sponsor said it. We had a little competition where different compounds in the area will compete on who's the best speaker, who had the best order skills and articulation and stuff like that. Guess who won #1?
You.
Yeah, boy. You know what I'm saying? So that just gave me confirmation that, like, you know what? I have a gift with speaking. And like I said, I already talked a lot, and like I explained and like I alluded to with my dad, having that magnetic personality, I feel like it worked hand in hand. It correlated, complemented each other. And I love it, bro. I love the art of speaking. It's like for me, being an entertainer, being a rapper on stage, but not busting lyrics, but, busting perspective and wisdom and instruction, but in like an eloquent, persuasive, wanting to embrace way, because it, comes with, facial expressions, body language, certain posture, confidence, pauses, without fillers, stuff like that. All that, compiles into the art of public speaking. And this is what I learned in Toastmasters. And big ups anybody, if you want to polish your skills as a orator, public speaker, or leader, man, I definitely advise you to get into Toastmasters, man. It works. It's proven. It has helped me become the person I am today. So, but yeah, it was amazing, bro. I love speaking, man. I can talk all day. That's why you got me here, right? To talk.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I love it, man. I love everything about, public speaking, the art of it. It's amazing.
Let me tell you something. I never go online without NordVPN anymore. Seriously, whether I'm traveling, watching sports, or just scrolling at a coffee shop, I know my data is safe, secure, and private. Ever tried to watch a show or live game only to find out it's not available in your region? Super frustrating, right? We've all been there before. Well, with NordVPN, I could switch my virtual location and watch any sporting event, TV show, or movie from anywhere in the world. No more annoying region blocks. And let's talk security because I used to connect to public Wi-Fi all the time without thinking about it. Airports, hotels, coffee shops, you name it, hackers love those places. But NordVPN encrypts my data so I don't have to worry about someone stealing my passwords, bank info, or personal details. Oh, and here's a pro tip. I've even used NordVPN to save money on flights, hotels, and subscriptions just by switching my virtual location. It's insane how much cheaper things are in different countries. Plus, NordVPN is the fastest VPN in the world. No buffering, no lag, no ISP throttling, just smooth, secure browsing. And with one account covering up to 10 devices, I have every phone, laptop, and tablet protected at all times. So if you're online, which obviously you are, you need NordVPN. Now to get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/IanBick, where you'll get 4 extra months free on a 2-year plan. And don't worry, there's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. The link is in the podcast episode description. Stay safe, stay connected, and unlock the internet with NordVPN. Now let's get back into today's episode. How old were you when you turned down the criminal path, and why do you think you got set on that path?
All right. Well, in criminal path, I'm a criminal?
I mean, we've all made criminal decisions, you know?
Yeah. All right, so.
And we're talking in time. It's not like we're talking
No, I'm just joking. I'm just pulling your leg. Bro, Ian, I'm gonna keep it 100, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck, man. I was the dude, bro, that jumped straight off the porch into the back of the police car. And I ain't ashamed to admit it, bro. Prior to that, I had one juvenile charge where ironically, I tried to sell a police bike, bro. It was so crazy too, bro. Like that was our thing growing up, selling bikes, you know, chopping them up, customizing it to our own liking and stuff like that. That was the furthest thing I did in regards to criminal activity prior to what I went to prison for. But one day, bro, was going to the rec center. I didn't have a bike at the time because somebody stole my bike, Karma something, right? So I was like, my homeboy was like, man, let's go to the gym, you know, play some basketball. Like, bro, I ain't got no bike. He was like, man, you already know the deal, bro. I'm gonna put you on the handlebars. You're gonna ride there, but on our way back, we're gonna get us one. For sure. So we did just that. Played ball, had a good day at the rec center. I seen a bike, bro, a nice Cannondale bike. And at the time, I was so oblivious. Cannondale, that's the brand that police use in my city. That's the Cannondale bike. They're very expensive bikes, like $3,000 to $4,000 bikes. So I didn't realize, like, how can somebody just be so, like, stupid to just leave a nice bike like this unlocked? And when I got it in, I noticed, like, the brakes was, like, squeezed on the tire, so you couldn't really go. Like, you couldn't really, like, you had, like, some, like, resistance there. I'm like, man, bro, what's up with this bike? And I hop on it, bro, and I never forget, bro, Chevy Lumina. Pulled up, tinted up, jumped out, bro. This scrawny white guy, bro, but had big balls. You know, vest up, badge. He gets me, bro. He puts me, slam me on the freaking hood. The hood's burning my neck. I'm like, bro, this car's hot. Shut up, I don't care. I'm like, bro, what'd I do? Like, bro, you're a thief. You're stealing. I'm like, stealing what? It's my bike. No, it's not. It's mine. I put it there to set up. I was like, oh, man. I was like, nah, man. What happened? I was I was testing it. Like, yeah, we know. And I'm like, I'm stuttering, trying to lie. And like, in the blink of an eye, bro, like my life flashed before me. Like, I thought, like, I don't know, bro. I just thought my life was gonna be altered forever. Like, and I'm like, bro, all this over a bike though? Bro, I literally got like slammed and like pushed to like the hot ass hood of the car, bro. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. And my homeboy, he looking at like, you know, I said, call my mom, bro. Like, do something. But yeah, that was my very first charge. And I just had some little community hours, little kiddie probation, but nothing big. But it was crazy because subsequently, like 3 months subsequently, I catch a charge, man. I catch this charge I went to prison for, and it's like, wow. Like I literally, bro, just like literally from off the porch into the police car, and it's like, how?
How old are you?
I was 16 years old.
And what happened?
What happened was, man, I was an idiot. I fell, I don't want to use the word victim, but I fell weak to peer pressure. I didn't have the fortitude and the balls to say no. But I allowed my friend at the time convince me to participate in the robbery, right? And this friend, give you a little backstory about him, I kind of looked up to him a little bit because he was a year older than me, and he just had what we call motion. What we call motion today, he had motion. He had way more money than me. We was like equivalent on the dress tip, but he just had a little more. Always had J's, had the jewelry, swagged up dude. And girls gravitated towards him. And I just liked the clout he had, because when we go to school, he was able to buy the girls boxes of pizza, and I whipped them flat. I watched him like pull out like $3,000 in high school. To high school, $3,000, that's a lot of money, bro. I mean, the most money I seen at that time was no more than $300. And I got that saving up working at Busch Gardens. You know what I mean? So, I asked him like, yo, bro, what's up, bro? How you getting all this money? Like, bro, you know what I do? I boom my reefer. He was selling reefer, marijuana, and, committing robberies. And he said, bro, you should tag along with me, bro. I'll show you the ropes. I'll show you how I get down and, elevate you a little bit. So initially, I'm like, man, nah, that ain't for me. That ain't my swag, bro. I'm more of a get the girl, school guy, class clown, cooling, But, after being around them, and that's why, it's cliche, man. I know everybody says it, but it's very paramount and very true. Birds of a feather flock together, man. You are the sum of five. You are the sum of five. You are the sum of the five people you hang around. If you hang around 5 robbers, guess what? You're going to be the 6th robber. If you hang around 5 entrepreneurs, guess what? You're going to be the 6th entrepreneur. Hang around 5 nerds, guess what? Even if you a street cat, eventually you're going to transition to a nerd. So by being around them, and for a prolonged period of time, after saying no, I just gave in. The Florida State Fair was coming around. It's like, man, I just want more. J's was coming out, wanted more clothes. Because like I said, my mom definitely spoiled me, but sometimes it was like my mom didn't have it at that time to get what I wanted. And I seen him and other people in the school always like bragging about how, well, my mama don't buy my clothes, bro, I buy my own. And it used to make me feel like small, like less than, because my mom bought me clothes. But isn't that what's supposed to happen? I'm 16, I'm an adolescent, I still live under the roof of my mom. But everybody wasn't as fortunate as me, so they had to go through desperate measures to get, material gains. And as a man, I understand that now. But yeah, with my co-defendant, he that's what it was. And eventually I just gave in due to the circumstance. And, we went to pull a robbery. Me and 3 others that I hung around, that we were all close. And that night, Ian, man, was something that I'll never forget, man. It was just so daunting. Gives me the chills even just going down memory lane, but this is what we're here for. We locked in, and we want to give the people perspective on reality of decision making and, the rawness of life, and how one decision can alter your life forever. And that was the case with me. So we went on to you familiar with USF, University of South Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah. Prominent college in Tampa. We went on the campus. Now you like, why in the fuck would you go? I mean, that's how stupid we were. Like, kids, naive. Why would you go on a college campus with a community that has nothing? College kids are fucking broke as shit. Like, what are we doing going to college campus? But blind leading the blind. Naive, dumb, young, idiots. So we go on to college campus, we pull in immediately, we see a lady. Co-defendant say like, boy, let's go. Let's do her. And I don't know why, it's like, a robbery's still a robbery, but I just had this like soft spot, like, man, nah, let the lady go. Not let the lady, somebody else. He's like, all right. So we, circled, scoped out the scene, and eventually we got out. Got out the car, and it was cold. It's actually February. It was February 8th, to be exact. Freezing. You won't think because it's Tampa, it's Florida, but Tampa does get cold. So it was like 40 degrees, bro. Freezing cold. We got out the car, warming my hands up, stuff like that. And we're walking for about 5 minutes across the campus. We see a guy. The guy walks past us, And what's so chilling is that the guy even spoke to us. I remember his voice. He said, good evening, gentlemen. He said, it's pretty cold out here, huh? He's like, hey, feel like I want to jump in the microwave. And I'm like, yeah, he definitely feel you on that. And we walked past him. Co-defendant gave me the nudge. I'm like, yeah. Guy just spoke to you. He's pretty nice, man. Like, all right. So, and for a long time, I had to forgive myself because I felt like had I not done what I did, I probably wouldn't gave him the momentum to do what he did. But I sucked it up and I was like, okay. So I ran behind him and I hit him in the back of the neck. And I remember his glasses falling. You know, I remember that noise. And he's like, oh, what the? And it's so sad, bro. It's like kind of emotional, man, because I don't know if you ever did it, man, but you ever committed some type of betrayal to somebody in? Like, and be honest, bro. Like,
yeah, I would say so. I think we all go through that.
All go through that. And it's like, even though I didn't know this guy from a can of paint, the way he looked at me was like a sign of betrayal. Like, we just gave a great greet and you just hit me for no reason. And I'm like, wow. And I was just stuck. But by the time it all happened so fast, you know, my co-defendant pulls out a gun. And he says, you got to count to 3 to give it up. You know what time it is. And for those who don't know, you got to count to 3 to show us anything of value. Or he was going to shoot him. And the guy has his hands out. And he say, well, gentlemen, you're just going to have to shoot me. I have nothing. I don't got nothing. And my co-defendant, he counted to 1, 2, and a 3 was a bang. Shot him. Cold right there on the concrete. I got so stuck, so nervous, forgot where I was at, what we were doing, that I screamed my co-defendant name out. I'm like, what the fuck? And I remember this guy crying in agony, being shot with a WCC hollow tip bullet. An innocent man gets killed on his way home because he had nothing. And that right there, bro, did something to me. Messed me up, bro. I don't even really get that deep into the story like that. First podcast I really got this deep into because it gets real emotional. It took a long time for me to forgive myself for being involved in something like that. But we ran. I was like, bro, felt like Forrest Gump. I was running, trying to find that car. And we got in the car, me and my other co-defendant, and we're telling the driver, like, bro, go, leave. Like, so-and-so was crazy. Motherfucker nuts. Man just shot somebody for no reason. He's like, nah, man, we can't leave. That's our dog, man. Fuck all that. Then you just hit me. This man just shot somebody cold blood for no reason, bro. So eventually he stayed, he waited. My co-defendant gets in. I see him tucking the gun in his waist. And I'm like, motherfucker. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, we back and forth. Like, I'm ready to grid. That means fighting. Sorry for my slang, but I mean, I'm ready to fight. I'm really ready to do it to you, bro. But I had to come to my senses. This man got a gun on him. This man just shot somebody. Yeah, we homies, but in the heat of argument, bro, emotions are flared up. I could take a bullet too. So I humbled myself. But I was just mad, bro. I was infuriated. Cause I don't know if this guy's gonna make it or not. And I told him, I say, bro, what if this guy's dead? Hey, bro, that's just part of the game, bro. It is what it is. He be all right. What? And it's like, bro, I wasn't the most mature person, but I did grow up with some type of dignity, to bro. Like, I wasn't an insensitive person. Like, come on, bro, innocent person loses his life for nothing? Like, how insensitive can you be, bro? And right then and there, I looked at him different. I didn't no longer look at him as a friend. Like, you a monster, bro. You a menace. With that type of mentality. And then weeks go by, months. We had a cold case. We were on camera, but the distance was that the camera was set at. We were under the fire, but you just see 3 bodies running across the campus. So we had a cold case. So they had like $100,000 reward on our head. Anybody who had any type of information about who was involved in this crime. So I remember, bro, I was having trust issues because the guy, unfortunately, he died. He didn't make it. So they wanted us, bro. They wanted us. And I'm like, bro, I couldn't trust nobody. I couldn't tell my mom. I couldn't tell nobody. But I eventually told 2 people. I told my girlfriend at the time, and I told my homeboy, God bless the dead, who's no longer with us right now. But it got me mad because my homeboy told somebody, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, I'm starting to question him because I never forget. I got off the bus, and he calls me. He like, Morgan. They was calling me Morgan at the time. Like, Morgan, bro, you know that stuff you told me about, bro? It got real, bro. I think you need to come see me. Where you at? I'm like, bro, I'm on the bus right now, man. Meet me at the bus stop. Like, all right. Meet me at the bus stop. We walked to his house, and he had a Florida Sentinel in his hand. Florida Sentinel was a local publication paper that the city of Tampa provides. And there I was. Not me, per se, but I know it was me, my case. In the back of the Florida Sentinel, the crime section. $100,000 reward for anybody who has any information in regards to this crime. And I'm talking about my stomach. My heart dropped to my stomach. Cause now I'm looking at my homeboy sideways. Motherfucker, is you gonna tell on me? $100,000 a lot of money, especially back then, for a 15, 16-year-old, that's life-changing money. So I'm looking at everybody sideways. I'm like, hey, man, hey. I feel like everybody the enemy. I'm walking on eggshells, So it was a cold case, man, for about a month and a half, going on 2 months. But my co-defendant, bro, you familiar with Slick Rick, right?
Slick Rick?
Yeah.
No, who's
the
that?
rapper?
Mm-mm.
He's an old school legendary rapper. He had a popular song in the 80s, Storytelling, one of those. But here's a little story. Once upon a time, not long ago, very classic hip hop song. But in that song, he says something in one of his verses. He was like, his friend, he robbed another, and the sister and the brother. And basically, he robbed somebody who was a DT undercover, some detective undercover, something like that, along those lines. And that was my co-defendant. Because after that, he uses the same gun that he shot the man with to go rob a convenience store. Gets caught. They find the gun, forensics. You can conclude the rest, right?
He snitches on you guys?
Yes. And I'm like, wow. Really? And not only that, they had the license plate number of the driver. So they got the driver, they got him, they round us all up. But it's so crazy, bro, because that day it did something to me that at that point I had the intestinal fortitude to say no. I stood up for myself and was like, hell no, because he wanted me to participate in that robbery. Can you imagine? And if I would have participated in that robbery, I wouldn't even be talking to you right now.
You would have been just as guilty as the shooter.
Bro, that too, but bro, I would have got more time. I got sentenced to 15 years, followed by 10 years. 15 years in a Florida State prison, followed by 10 years probation. Bro, I would at least got like 30 years. Because what that says is, okay, yeah, you say you sorry, you crying, but a month and a half, you had the guts to go rob a convenience store? Oh, you motherfuckers ain't learning. You motherfuckers are menaces to society. And they sentenced my co-defendant within that manner. He has a life sentence.
He got life?
He has life. He will never see a daylight of freedom.
So the cops believed your story, then it backfired on him that you weren't the shooter?
No. They had to believe it. My fingerprints went on the gun. So it's no story. It is what it is. Fingerprints.
So what was his gain for snitching on you guys?
I don't know exactly.
If he still got life, he could have just let it go and say he was...
But he didn't know that initially. I mean, in the inception of the roundup, nobody knows. He just... I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what was going through his head, but how they know me? You get what I'm saying? Now, like I said, I do know that they did get the picture of the license plate from the driver. And I know the driver, said what he said, but they were knowing just a little too much information that was like only he would know, right? So it is what it is. But it's crazy because during the roundup, an inception of the roundup, I'm in the interrogation room. Now, mind you, this is the first time I've been in the interrogation room. I'm scared, got excited, don't know what to expect. But initially, I'm lying. Cause I'm trying to wiggle out of something. I'm trying to get out of this. Hell no. But everything I told them, they knew it was a lie, and they knew the answers to everything. And I'm like, how in the fuck are they knowing? And they kept going in and out. So, like I said, I was naive. I jumped from the police car. Jumped off the porch straight into a police car. So I'm oblivious to all the tactics and strategies they use. I'm going against detectives that have been doing this shit for 25 to 30 years. I'm just, experiencing this type of lifestyle. So they keep going in and out, and they ask me these questions, and they're telling me, and it's like, well, no, this isn't happening because remember you that. I'm like, what the fuck? How you knowing this? So they went out one last time. The last time they went out, I just hear a voice. Man, I ain't killed nobody though, man. I told you everything you wanted. And I'm like, what? It wasn't the shooter, it was the driver. I'm like, he told everything. Everything. So now that puts me in a corner, a position where people can say what they want. First law of nature is what, Ian?
Attraction?
Self-preservation. So now I'm thinking, from a survival standpoint, oh man, I better tell the truth because I don't want to make things worse for myself. I don't want to be the lie. I don't want to be the one. So I just told him the truth. That's what happened. Everything. Blood raw, uncut. It is what it is. I had no choice. And for people in, I know, because of the rap music we listen to today, oh, it's this and that, bruh. Listen, call it what you want. I don't label that as snitching. I had to tell the truth and do what I had to do because I had co-defendants that opened their mouth initially. I had no choice. I was 16 years old, oblivious to all this. If you want to hold that against me, oh well. But I can say this. A lot of people that may cast your judgments, quote unquote, majority of you, I want to say 99.9, would have done the same thing if he was in my situation as a kid. Oblivious, no experience, naive to how the system works. I didn't know. Had I known, been more experienced, probably would have handled it, approached it a little differently. But it is what it is. We learn from our experiences. I would never indulge myself in any type of crime, especially that nature, ever again in my life. But hypothetically speaking, if I was, it'll be a different approach.
Did you know he had a gun the night you robbed him?
Yeah. Most definitely. And I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because, my mom and my family at the time, they were all under this assumption, this paradigm that I'm innocent. And I had to tell my mom numerous times, sister, dad, everybody, like, bro, I'm not innocent. I'm guilty as they come. I knew about the robbery. I knew he had a gun. I participated in it. What I'm not guilty of is having any knowledge at all that he was going to shoot and kill somebody, or that at any point in time that I aid in the bet or encourage him to shoot him. I never once said, hey, yo, bro, shoot him. Forget that motherfucker. Let's get out of here, shoot him. He lying. Never. I sat there quiet, hoping that I could at least hit him. What, maybe bruise his jaw a little bit. He fall, we just run. At least the man got his life, right? I had no knowledge and had no inclination of something of that nature to that degree happening to an innocent man, bro. It's not me. It's not how I was raised.
Do you think that man still would have died if you decided not to go do that robbery that night? You as an individual said, I'm not going. You do what you want to do. Do you think it's the same outcome?
Ian, it's hard to say, man. It's hard to say because nobody knows. We could do hypotheticals all day, but I did say this, like I said in the beginning, me hitting the guy gave my co-defendant confidence, built momentum, because a lot of us, we move off momentum. So when he seen me commit the action, it's like, now you can't freeze up. You got to hold up your end of the bargain because you got us out here. And you said you was the expert in this area. And I just popped it off. What are you going to do? So I don't know him being so young, 17, trying to have this proven mentality that I'm going to show my dogs that I'm about that life, that I'm a gangster, that I'll pop somebody if I got to. He did that. And you didn't have to. But I understand, you know, as an adolescent, we have a infantile brain. We have a childlike mindset. We don't really assess the consequences of our actions. And, you know, because of that, sometimes we make piss poor decisions, very drastic decisions that can cost us dearly. And unfortunately, that's the case with my co-defendant. You never get a second chance in life. It is what it is. And a lot of people may feel like, oh, he was a kid, he didn't know, et cetera, et cetera. But if that was your family member, would you have that same outlook? You should ask yourself that. So it's not my place to judge. I worry about myself. I had my own dilemma, my own crossroads I had to deal with regarding that matter. Like I say, it took a while for me to forgive myself. And I remember being incarcerated, like crying late night, waking up with cold sweats, because I'm like, I just seen a man get shot and die. I don't know if you ever experienced that, but seeing somebody get shot and die, bro, innocently, it's a whole nother ball game hearing somebody cry in agony, man, over a bullet. And, you know, those sound effects, those words, still to this day, play in my mind. As an older guy, somebody who forgiven myself, I cope with it and how to deal with it. But at the time, as an adolescent, you know, finding myself, it was hard. And nobody knew. I cried, man, for like 6 months straight. Almost 6 months to like a year. I cried almost every night. Having nightmares about that shit. Seeing his face, hearing the sound, the glasses falling, all that, bro. It was real.
Did you feel like 15 years was a fair sentence for your participation in this?
It's funny, man. You ask some great questions, bro. Yes and no. Because at the time, I felt like 10 years would have been enough for me. I think 10 years was a fair sentence due to the fact I didn't pull the trigger. You guys know, forensics confirmed that I didn't. I never aided in the bet. First time really getting in trouble. Throughout the whole duration of the judicial process, I show remorse and condolence. And it's on record. The victim fiance stated that on record, told the judge to please take that in consideration. Mr. Nelson has been very remorseful, understanding, and, you know, sorry for his participation. Take that in consideration. And I just felt like 15 years was a little steep. 10 would have been the best. Because in Florida, you do 85% of your time, so I probably did like 8 years and 9 months. I felt like that was more than enough. But unfortunately, that wasn't the hand that was dealt. What was dealt was 15 years. I didn't have a life sentence. I had a second chance at life, even though I didn't understand it. And what gave my big motivation is I remember, man, the judge hitting that gavel. Sentenced me to 15 years in the Florida State Prison, bro. 1 year less than what I lived on the street as a free person. And he smirked, bro. It ticked me off, bro. This was like one of the primary factors why I went to prison in Trailblaze, because he said, Mr. Nelson, be grateful you got a second chance. I'm like, second chance? Bro, you just sentenced me all this time. A decade plus second chance? No second chance. I'm gonna be in my 30s when I get out. But you know, at 16, looking at that, for 30s, you're like, that's a long ass time. And think about it, when you were 16, you're 29 now. Look at the time, look at the dash. Somebody will say, hey man, just think about what you're gonna be doing at 29, at the age of 60. You're like, can't think that fucking far, bro. What the fuck? You serious?
A lot's happened in me.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's what the case was with me. And I'm like, are you smirking? And I may took it the wrong way. He may not have meant that, because now looking at it, he was kind of right, because when I went to prison and I seen people have lesser charges than me, because I got a second degree murder, accessory in principle, and attempt on robbery, for the record. But I seen people with less charges than me. You know, a few robberies, carjackings, home invasions with life sentences. And nobody died in their case. Somebody died in my case, bro. And I got a second chance at life. I'm able to get out at the age of 29. Young, you still feel young, right? Still got the world ahead of you. I got out at that same age, bro. And I came out blazing and trailblazed. Like, I came out on fire. And one of the motivations, like I say, the judge, you know? I don't know if he meant it like that, but I took it as that, and I used it just as fuel to my fire. And I became a motherfucking beast in prison. Not because I was whooping everybody and was the big dog and running the compound, flooding the shit with drugs. Nah, man. Because I tried to become the best version of myself that I could possibly be. I'm talking about every trade class I could take to give me some type of hard skill, trade or soft skill. Took it. Learned a second language. Learned how to speak. Learned a lot about myself. Became a man. You know, identified, cultivated healthy habits that I use while incarcerated to help me not cope, but to give me structure and safe. Because in prison, man, prison is an environment. It's very sensitive. It thrives off emotion, whether anybody want to believe it or not, because people are very sensitive. They take respect, like, very seriously. And people will feel like they're being disrespected from the most minute things. So knowing this, I had to carry myself in a certain manner, because I was 18 years old when I went to prison. I got locked up at 16. I did 2 years in the county. But when I actually went to prison, it was at the age of 18. Now, mind you, they put me on the Bluebird, sent me to Mayo CI. When I heard of Mayo CI, I thought of mayonnaise for some reason. I never heard of a day in my life. Straight in the boondocks, redneck town. And I'm like, what the hell? Where the hell am I at? I get off the bus, looking around me. I'm like, what the hell did I get myself into? But at that moment, I knew that this is something that mama couldn't help me with. This was something nobody could save me from. I had to save myself. And that's the whole key to life, Ian, is that it's not about what happens to you, because life happens to everybody. Challenges, difficulties, problems happen to every living human being and organism on the planet Earth. But the biggest thing is, how do we respond? How do we grow from that? Do we allow that challenge to build character, to enable us to be the best versions of ourselves, to give to the world, to have a better life, to be superior to our lower nature, you know? So in prison, I had to move different. Because like I said, I was 18 and they put me in a dorm. 75% of the dormitory, bro, had life sentence. I was classified as a short timer on a fresh 15-year prison sentence. In. Can you imagine? You've been in prison, right? You had 3 years. That was enough for you. Can you imagine having 15 years?
No.
Heart would have dropped, right?
Yeah.
So imagine catching 15 years and somebody telling you, talking to you like you're a short timer. Man, you a short timer, man. You'd be out in no time. Motherfucker, what? Yeah, a decade plus. You know? But that's how real it was. You know? And because I was in a dormitory full of lifers, they had a culture in there, bro. Don't disturb the peace. And I remember guys looking at me in my eyes, telling me in so many words, young blood, don't mess up the peace, man. We got stuff going on in here. They don't bother us. They don't shake us down as much. Don't come in here drawing attention, or else it's going to be ramifications. And I knew what that was. Life could potentially get taken. Somebody going to put that iron in your ass. And don't give a damn how hard where you come from, what city, hard, man, you think you fighting. how tough you think you are, can't beat a community of people, especially when they're in unison and they're willing to enforce the culture. You're going to fall in line. And that's what I did. I fell in line. And from that point forward, I matured as an 18-year-old. I wasn't the average 18-year-old. I was beyond my years because I was forced to be in an environment that forced me to grow up faster than what's the norm at that particular age. And I knew I was advanced because I used to see people, young cats, 20, 21, 22 coming in with no awareness at all. It didn't end up well. I've seen cats get stabbed, blood, guts everywhere, over something that, yes, so minute, but very serious in the same sense because this is the culture. And one thing, for those who don't know, I don't know if you was gonna allow me to introduce myself on what it is that I'm doing, but I'm an emotional intelligence development coach. I help people build and manage their emotions effectively to 10x their performance in business, workplace, and in personal endeavors. And, I developed my emotions while incarcerated because in prison, you gotta have control of your emotions. You gotta be composed at all times because one slip up, one falling weak to an impulse or that urge of the emotion, that instant gratification, whatever it is, it can cause you dearly. And I witnessed people, because of the lack of emotional intelligence, get their life taken. I seen a man die in prison, get stabbed to death. I seen somebody, we got a call, I don't know if you said you were in the P.A.S.S, call a lock in the sock, where they get a sock and they tie it to a lock and they'll go to town on you, bro. And though that lock is small, with force and the pressure, leave a dent right on your fucking skull. I seen it. You know what I'm saying? I done seen people get old raggedy bedposts. I even seen, bro, I don't know if I done seen people get a knife, shank, that's what we call them. Get an empty coffee bag, take a shit in the coffee bag, bro. Put the shank in there, let it bake and sit in the sun. You know why they're doing that, Ian?
Why?
For the bacteria. So when they stab you, if they don't kill you, you're going to be fucked up from the bacteria because they're going to put that bacteria in your system. Think about all the germs and infection and bacteria going in you. Somebody put that knife in you. It was just prison, state. I don't can speak from state. I've never been to Fed, but prison was rough. And I went to one of the most treacherous prisons in the state of Florida at that time. And the things I witnessed is like, bro, I'd be damned if I play. I can't be in the dormitory acting childish, speaking all loud, being obnoxious, being insensitive, skipping the phone line. That get your ass beat or killed. Skipping the canteen line. For those who don't know, that's a canteen line is a place where you can get snacks, hygiene, stuff like that. The closest thing you can get to the streets, like you're privileged to get, because state food ain't nothing. Prison food sucks, it's nasty, but you do have the option to get chips and soups and stuff like that. We call them Zoom Zooms and Wham Whams. But I've seen so much violence, get birthed from people just being insensitive, thinking that the world revolves around them, that you don't have to respect your peers. They ain't no well for them. I remember, I tell you all the time, bro, dude skip somebody, and the guy was kind of big too. One of them young, because you got a nice little fighting game, tattoos, you big, you intimidating, you think you run something. So he skipped the guy, small, tiny guy, humble, quiet, life sentence. Guy was trying to use the phone, wait patiently just like everybody else. He skipped the guy and looked at him like, I beat your ass. You know what time it is? My phone. I need to make a call. It's important. So the guy say, you sure you want to do that, man? Like, can I just get my call? I just don't want no trouble, man. Man, fuck that. You know what time it is. Fuck you. Okay. Subsequently, get him, man. He coming. Bleeding everywhere. Blood dripping out his face profusely. On that glass. You already know that on that glass man getting that deputy attention. Help! Medic! God! Because you playing. You cause it on yourself. So me seeing these things, it gave me perspective on how to carry myself. In addition to meeting my mentor that I alluded to, I just became an advanced individual, bro. I tore that library up. I was just learning. I just worked on my personal development skills, bro. I just always was wanting to read. Because prior to that, I didn't read as much. I didn't read. And it's safe to say I read my first book by myself, page for page, front to back, in jail. George Washington Carver, The Peanut Man, be exact. I read that book. I felt exhilarated. I felt great. And I was like, man, this is a high. Like I just hit a crack pipe or something, but in a more constructive manner. I wanted more and more and more. And it translated when I went to prison. I was tearing that library up, man. I was tearing that library up because my whole objective was this, Ian. I got a murder charge. I got very hefty charges. I know it's going to be hard for me when I got out. I know I was going to face a lot of denial, a lot of roadblocks because of that charge, what they see on paper. So I knew I had a lot of explaining to do. So I said, okay, I'm going to make it hard for people to say that, I'm going to make it hard for people to say no, right? So I said, how could I do that? Well, make myself more valuable, have something to offer, make somebody's life or situation more easier. And I did that by edifying myself, learning skills, and having that personality that I was already, inherited, but just, fine-tuning it, really know how to use it to my advantage, utilizing all those components. I got out of prison, bro. So many doors has opened up for me, Ian, that if I had a different mind frame and I didn't develop the intangibles within self, how I developed while incarcerated, I wouldn't have got those opportunities. But I've literally had people tell me that, bro, the reason why I'm taking a chance on you, Mo, because of who you are as an individual. Because anybody else, those charges scare me, bro. Think about it. Might scare you, Ian. You might have a job proposal. What? Murder charges? What? They're gonna pass on that one. But once I had the opportunity to present myself to you and let you know what it is that I have to offer you that can solve a problem for you, people are willing to take a chance. Anytime you're adding value to somebody or something, 9 out of 10, you'll be an exception to that rule.
What would have happened if you stayed at the crime scene right after he shot him? Would it have been a different outcome? Could you have saved his life? Could you have gotten less, blame because you stayed on scene and you called for help?
What, you trying to make me cry, Ian?
Nah. The audience wants to know.
Yeah, man. Great question. Detective did, he mentioned that. He said, Morgan, not Mo. He said, Mr. Nelson, it'd been a little different if you would have had stayed at the scene of the crime, and at least tried to help the individual. And I wasn't trying to be no smart ass, but I had to put things in perspective to the detective. I say, listen, I just witnessed a man shoot a man senselessly for no reason because he didn't have any goods to give him. If I would have stayed after this man just shot this person, 9 out of 10, what you think my co-defendant would have did to me? Because I got to tell. I'm going to tell. I have to. That's the only way I'm coming out unscathed. I have to tell the truth. Who did it? What happened? Oh, I don't know. I don't know, man. I walked over here and just, well, motherfucker, you did it. It's on you. I ain't taking nobody for nobody. The man ain't died. The man ain't died from my hands. He died in his hands. So I had to tell him the truth. And my co-defendant knew that. So to increase his chance of getting away, you don't think he would have shot and killed me? There's one less person that got to talk. And I illustrated this to the detective, and he didn't want to admit, but I know he felt me because I know I made perfect sense. What would you have done? Not you, per se, that's a rhetorical question, but that's why I was basically put in the mirror on the detective, like, come on, man, you serious?
I think everyone would want to say they would have stayed, but it is hard to
Bro, it's hard.
judge in that moment.
It's hard
what
to judge in that
you've
moment. Especially remember, I'm a kid. I'm not 35-year-old Mo sitting before you today with perspective and reasoning. I was a child, bro, with an undeveloped concept.
And I think a child that would have had the courage to stay would never have put himself in that position to begin with.
Exactly. So you see the difference. But
when you got out of prison, did you feel like when you started to like be social and maybe date people or just get yourself out in the world, did you feel like you were behind, socially, psychologically from people that were your age because of, you lost your 20s, you lost your late teens to prison, like those really developmental years?
You want to know the truth, man?
Give it to me.
Of course you do. That's what we're here for. Bro, I surpassed all of them, bro. I feel like I was the advanced one, bro. Me getting reacclimated back to society. And I'm not saying it's to brag or boast, bro. I'm not pulling nobody's leg here, bro. My transition was smoother than what you would have anticipated. And because of that, what's responsible for that is what I did in prison. It was a development I was so diligent about in prison, reading the books. Man, I read books on personal finance, credit and debt, how to make optimal decisions, emotional intelligence. I mean, a plethora of subject matters that when I got out, I lived through the books, but I also lived through the experience of other people because throughout my 15-year prison sentence, I met and seen individuals that came to prison at least 2-3 times while I was on my first bid. And I'm like, bro, you just got out last year, bro, you back again? See, in the state, I don't know about the feds, but in the state, they have a letter that identifies how many times you've been in prison. So 0 is first. I had a 0. A is 2, 3 is B. You get the gist, right? So I seen people in there with, bro, G letters. I'm like, holy shit, you got a G letter, bro? What is 11 times? What is that? You ain't learned yet, bro. And you in and out complaining about the system and this and that, and it ain't fair. Bro, come on now. The system against you, and you put yourself in a situation to be in prison 11 times? Come on, bro. We got to start having some accountability now, don't we? So I seen that and I said, man, I don't want to be that. I didn't want to be the guy that was behind. 29 years old, behind, naive, no sense of reality and what's going on, very gullible. Nah, I wanted to be an individual when I approach you and I talk to you, you'll be appalled when I tell you I've been in prison. And that happens all the time. I tell somebody I've been in prison, oh, you? No, Mo, seriously, you? Yeah. No, seriously, really pretty. Yes, bro. I was in them blues. My DC number was T59894. Look it up. I'm in the system. No point am I glorifying. But to tell you the truth, I was really in the trenches. But it was the intangibles, man, I developed while incarcerated that allowed me to survive the trenches and to construct a way to get out here and do some of the things that I'm doing now and to be able to help individuals, prevail against their own adversity,
How do you plan to make amends with the victim's family?
Well, one point in time, man, I still might do it. It's never too late. But one point in time, I did plan on getting out and being escorted by a policeman, for my own protection, just in case it goes left. And she said I threatened her, try to do this. You got to protect yourself. I want to get escorted by police. Sorry. And just see the victim's fiance and just let her know that first and foremost, it's nothing I can do to bring your late fiance back. But what I do want you to know is that I'm terribly, terribly apologetic for my participation in the demise of your fiance. And I appreciate you recognizing my remorse throughout the whole process, because I was, and it was genuine and authentic. Got no reason to lie, man. That wasn't me, bro. Not a robber. Not a street dude. Just a regular urban kid in America, bro, that just got influenced by his peers. And it happens to so many of us today. And if there's something you going through, if you need help, DM me. DM me, man. Let's talk. Let's build. Because my objective is I want to help people, not just kids, but any young adult or adult that's encountering some type of crossroads where they feel like they're about to succumb to peer pressure, going through identity crisis, and not having the fortitude to say no or stick up for themselves. Let's talk. Let me see if I can help you. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Now, you were given the second chance. How do you plan on using it to make sure people don't go down the same path you did? Because it's one thing to say to people to reach out to you if they need it, but we all know most people don't reach out, especially as a kid. You weren't reaching out to people.
Right.
So how do you prevent that?
Well, for starters, I made myself available by becoming a facilitator with a school called Roth. It's a proverbial reentry. It's a proverbial school tailored for people reentering society from incarceration. You know, providing them with housing, trades, education. You know, resources that gives them a boost that will enable them to sustain and prohibit them from doing what they did to go in. Because a lot of people, they go in, they contribute to the recidivism rate because they don't have any resources. They don't have anything. Nobody believes in them. Nobody gives them a chance. So remember I say the first law of nature is what?
Survival.
Self-preservation. Somebody, they gotta survive. You hungry enough, Ian, hey, as much as you got going on right now, if everything was to stop, you had nothing. You had no more resources, had no food, nothing coming in. And that stomach hitting that back, and that starvation kicking in. And you might do some things that you even know you had the ability to do. You might think you couldn't challenge me in a physical battle. Not saying you can, but just assuming. But you hungry enough, you'll come take my chain. If you that hungry, that's for measure. So we have to apply that same reality into real people, right? So how I make myself available to prevent that, I became a facilitator where I teach my emotional intelligence development course through Roth. You know, educating the people the importance and the power of emotions. Because if we look at it, think about it, Ian. I don't know what you went to prison for, but 9 out of 10, if we go down to the root, the lack of emotional intelligence and succumbing to that impulse, gratification, that urge led you to prison. Mismanaging your emotions, whether it was anger, whether it was too much excitement, depression, etc. Somehow, some way, you going to prison was predicated on emotions. That's why it's important for us as men and women to understand our own emotions while simultaneously understanding emotions in others, so we'll know how to communicate and approach one another and to deal with the situation at hand. Because in today's time, you see a lot of road rage incidents, transpiring. Mismanaging emotions, not being able to compose your emotions. I seen one time on Instagram a video, road rage incident. Guy gets out the car, he's mad, whatever the case may be, I don't know right or wrong, couldn't really tell who was right or wrong. I just see two people arguing, bickering at one another. I just see the guy that in the back gets out of the car and gets in the window, puts his face all in the window, the guy in the front window. A couple seconds later, bam, body drop, headshot. Now you're dead because of the lack of emotional intelligence. You having not the know-how and the strength and the skill to utilize your emotions effectively, to be a benefit to you as opposed to a detriment. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, I prevent that, me facilitating, but providing coaching. Anybody need a one-on-one coaching that's having trouble developing their emotions, feeling stagnant, need motivation, like an empathy, these intangibles that you need in order to strive and thrive in life in your respective fields, contact me. We can work on that. We can help you. Me and the team, we'll get you together, and help you become that elite individual that we all have the potential to be. You know what I'm saying? And, going to DJJ youth centers, talking to them, alternative schools, talking to them, sharing my story. Never to glorify that I went to prison, because I never once will ever glorify going to prison. I would never encourage somebody to go to prison in. But I will say this, because no matter how hard we try and what resources we provide, motherfuckers still gonna go to prison. It's just nature. It's just the law of the land. It's the dynamics of life. However, if I can prohibit a significant portion or just a fraction, I'm doing my job. And for the ones that do slip on a banana peel and go to prison, I want to show you that there is still hope. Do not allow prison to consume you. Osiris, my mentor that I alluded to, he always told me, man, don't get consumed by the fire, but purified by the fire. And what that meant was the fire, the environment was my fire, right? And he said, Mo, if you take a piece of paper and you throw it in the brush of fire, what's going to happen?
It's going to ignite the fire.
It's going to ignite the fire, but what's going to happen to the paper?
It's going to burn.
It's going to burn, get consumed, right? All right, so let's say if we, you familiar with gold, you know how gold gets manufactured and stuff, gets created. In the mine, we go in the mine, get some raw, dirty ass, filthy, disgusting gold nugget. We throw it in that same brush of fire, what's going to happen?
It's not going to melt.
It's not going to melt. It's not going to burn. It's not going to get consumed yet. It's going to get purified. It's going to get cleansed and ready to be marketed for retail value. He told me, Mo, be that dirty gold nugget. Be that man, that boy that came in with filth, unawareness, no sense of life, with an infantile mind. Allow the fire, the environment, prison, to benefit you, to build you, to use it as an advantage, to make you an elite individual. And that's what the hell I did. I took advantage.
What's something you want to tell your 16-year-old self?
Really foreshadow the consequences of your actions. Just think about it. Like, put a scenario here, whatever you got, whether it's good or bad. Because consequences, people put a stigma on consequences. It's good consequences. Consequences are nothing but results. It's just a result of something that happened, that went into motion, a result of an action, right? So just being more mindful and more prudent with my action and just considering, playing out the consequence. And if I can withstand it or handle it, move forward. If I couldn't, then I knew that was confirmation I need to stay away. Because it's always a potential it can happen. It's always a potential. It's a risk in everything.
Mo, I appreciate you coming on the show today, man.
Man, listen, I appreciate you for having me, man.
You did an incredible job speaking and sharing your story.
Thank you, man. And I hope my story helps, because I never glorify prison or try to make it seem like I'm some type of tough guy because I've been to prison. That's not the case with me, because everybody that go to prison ain't tough. And just because you come out of prison, don't make you tough, man. But what distinguishes me from the average getting out of prison is that the same intangibles I nurtured and developed in there that gave me success in there, I applied out here in the free world that enabled me to have certain doors open to me for me to have a 6-figure earning business to be the stature of a man that I am today is because I applied what I developed in there out here. And if you're anybody that is in some type of stagnation, going through some hardships, not knowing how to prevail against your adversity, because prison may not be adversity. And you don't have to necessarily go to prison to face some adversity or be in that fire. Adversity and fire comes in many different shapes and forms for all of us. But if you need help with prevailing against that, DM me. I answer my DMs. Follow me at real_Mo Nelson Speaks, man. DM me the word prevail. And let's chat and see how I can help you, prevail against that adversity that you're currently faced with, man. And just show you and teach you some of the things I learned that I apply here, man, that will give you success that I'm currently experiencing. So yeah, prevail against self-sabotage. P.A.S.S. It was a pleasure. See you soon.